Let's go. Hey, everybody. This is the Sibling Trap Podcast. I'm Barry. This is Katrina. We're going to kill it today.
We are. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks
Happy
for
Tuesday.
we try to stay consistent with upload times, but sometimes life happens. So it's a little bit later today, but I'm glad that you're listening. Today I wanted to talk about something that's really relevant in my own life right now. And I think that, well, I know that there's quite a few listeners of ours that are in the same, not the same, but like similar pressure positions, I guess I could say. Because not everyone's going through a divorce, petty ass divorce. But, um, and that is being a woman breadwinner for your family. I know I've experienced it growing up because I was raised by a single mom, but obviously, Barry, you really didn't get to have you ever seen in your life, like in your personal life, a woman breadwinner, and how did that have an effect on you, like a lasting impression?
To be honest with you, I haven't been exposed to it a whole lot.
Hmm.
Growing up with a single dad, complete opposite end of the spectrum. Um, I mean, most of the families that I've been introduced to or that I've had a relationship with have always had either both parties working or just the male. But I know they exist. I know it's very important to that family that that woman is working really hard to provide for them and pay all the bills, and that's always a huge struggle and a huge sense of responsibility, and really honestly it's a lot of weight on anybody's shoulders, male or female.
Yeah.
So um,
Um, yeah, I think I, it's vulnerable for me to be like, let's share why I'm afraid to be a breadwinner, but I think that it's important. Um, for my own story to like just be consistent with who I am and how I'm showing up. I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't like to, put on this false sense of like I have everything together and, I live this perfect life and I'm the perfect mom and all this stuff. Like I'm flawed. I'm totally flawed. And I have fears as well. It was brought to my attention yesterday, um, by my boyfriend, and he was like, I think that you hold a lot of stress, you carry a lot of worries, but you don't give them power just by choice. And I was like, that's probably true. Cause I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how am I doing well? I'm like, I think I don't let it take over me. It's like, yeah, there's shit every day that I could, I have cried at the drop of a hat about. But it's not every day. So that's good news. Um, so I would say primarily like stepping into a breadwinner role in my profession, like as a virtual assistant, is definitely, some might say, is not the smartest idea, right? It's like, oh, there's so many other like more, what would you say, like predictable, like reliant jobs. But at the end of the day, like no job is secure. Like you could lose your job at any time. They could fire you for anything. Um, so that's kind of, I don't know. Do you feel like there's such a thing as like a secure job?
I mean, some jobs are more secure than others. I mean, it really just depends on what industry it is and
Hmm.
what you're doing. Like a really pretty woman is going to be a great bartender forever, right? That's the mentality. Everybody thinks that. And then, you know, you get older and the
You're less
crowd
paid.
still, yeah, the crowd still stays the same age because, I mean, everybody that parties these days are, freshly 21 through 30. And then after 30, it's like, I don't even want to go to the same bar anymore.
Yeah. How would you feel if I became a
So,
bartender?
more power to you. It
Okay, I don't think I could
sucks.
ever.
The service industry is not fun. Drunk people,
Hmm.
it's just having to constantly try to be the life
It's
of the party,
exhausting.
So it
Do
is
you feel
very
like you've kind of,
exhausting.
have you let that go from your personality? I know that you can, is it how you say it? Like you I can turn a room in, when I walk in. But like do you feel like you've kind of let that go a bit?
No, yeah, I definitely let it go. Yeah, my life now is focused more on what's actually going to get me somewhere versus what's not. That
Hmm.
fame shit, it's not worth it. Honestly, it's just knowing everybody when you walk into a bar is actually a bad sign in my book. It means you spend too much
Ooh,
fucking time there.
that's valid.
So
Um,
that's just my 2 cents. It was always because I worked at most of these places, so that's why I
yeah.
was always there. But and um, there's nothing wrong with the bar industry. If people listening have jobs in the bar industry, there's nothing wrong with it. I threw that
You've
kind
moved
of
on.
scenario out there just because I mean a lot of people in the bar industry think, oh well, I could do this forever because you're making money hand over fists or whatever. But there's ebb and flow. There's winter season coming up, or we're just getting out of it. We're going into summer season, so there's always a constant shift in the money. So a lot of
Hmm.
people, yeah, they want to drink and have fun during the summertime, but when it's cold outside, especially down here, a lot of people tend not to go out as much. So the
Yeah.
winter season gets kind of rough and the money gets kind of thin. So you
Hmm.
just kind of have to make up for it by finding a good bar year round.
Yeah.
Like working at White Oak Music Hall, I still bartend there just because it's a nice atmosphere and enjoy the shows.
Hmm.
But my first show is coming up in 2 weeks, and I'm excited to be back. But it's a completely different atmosphere, more like the music goers. They don't get real fucked up, so it's not like your local watering hole bar.
Yeah.
And
That's
people
good.
are there for a purpose. To see the bands or whatever.
Hmm.
It brings a decent crowd, so I enjoy it.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a change of pace, aside from my day job, so
hmm.
which is okay with
Yeah.
me.
It's definitely like there's this like delusional optimistic side of me that's like, you're going to have all these clients and you're going to be fully booked out, which could actually, realistically happen as a virtual assistant. But at the same time, I don't want to disappoint myself. So, I have been applying to different jobs and um, I'm excited to see where that goes. But I think that the inconsistency is definitely something that worries me. Ooh, that's hard to say. I almost like stumbled on that word. I'm like, ooh, that worries me. But it's true because I find that I'm a lot more intentional with my money now. Whenever I do get money, I've come so far in my spending in the last like 4 years. COVID like turned me into retail therapy again, and I don't like that about me. So now I'm like, okay, I have money, but like I don't want to spend it. And, here's $200. Like, what could I save that for? And just, I don't know. Do you feel like you've gotten more intentional with your money given how you kind of had a rough time last year with it all?
Yeah, so ever since I've moved into this apartment and I've spent a lot of money furnishing, like buying stuff that I needed, and after that, I mean, I could use a living room rug. That's pretty much the last piece. But after that, I stopped spending money altogether, Katie, because there came a point where it was like I don't go out, I don't drink.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna spend my money on? And I've been buying like clothes and food, obviously, but I don't. I'm more serious with where that money is going. Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
it? Is it bettering me or is it going to do something for me? Is it going to make me money? That's really what I'm spending my money on. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
if I buy a bunch of ammo for guns, right, and then I go out and I shoot all weekend long, I get a lot of really cool content, a lot of video footage and stuff like that with that ammo. So like I use the ammo as a tool for marketing,
Business.
right?
Yeah.
Business, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I've done anything like out of pure pleasure just to do like I haven't done that in so long. Like maybe I'll go watch a movie or something and spend $20 on myself.
Yeah. You should. You're worth it.
Intentionally. Yeah, I know I am. It's just I don't
Priorities.
know. Yeah, priorities. I guess that's something that I'm learning about, being single and having bills to pay for myself and it not being like a joint effort, like with, a roommate or, a relationship or something where they live with you. So it's like having to split all that expense, versus doing it yourself. So, but I'm noticing that I'm saving a lot of money now that I'm alone. Now that I'm not spending money on groceries for three, four people,
Yeah.
it's incredible. And that's another thing too that I've never really noticed. Like when I live alone, I cook for myself, and I don't cook just enough for me to eat. Like I have to cook enough for. I
Meal
mean,
prep.
most recipes call for like two or three people. So I just have plenty of food left over and makes
That's so
life a
good.
little easier. But yeah, I just wanted to put it out there, that women breadwinners are just as important as men. It
Hmm.
depends on your situation, and sometimes that's what it takes is the woman to step up and assume that role. And it's not like I'm not here to shame anybody. If you're a stay-at-home mom, there's nothing wrong with that. It's what your family requires of you, and you're doing whatever job or whatever role it is, and that is incredibly powerful too. You're taking care of things that I wouldn't want to stay home every day. I'll be honest. I had 2 weeks off. Like I mandatory had to take the time off, or else I wouldn't have it this year. Like before the first of the year,
Hmm.
and I sat at home, and I slowly lost my mind. There was just, I mean, yeah, I got to do all those things that I wanted to do, or like I had a checklist of like, hey, these are the things, that you want to accomplish in your time off. And I got them all done real early. And then I had like 3 days where I just didn't have shit to do. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I could not, I could not live a life like that. I can't just sit still. I have to be doing something productive or having somewhere to go and make money, like that's just kind of how I've always been.
Well,
But
also you have to think about like if you're a stay-at-home mom, like there are definitely things that keep you busy. So you're not really
right,
bored. There's always
I'm
more things.
right. There's always something to do. I just that's what I'm saying. Like, what if there was just nothing to do one day, and it was like
Yeah.
that would
Wow.
be me. I would be losing my mind. Like when I
Yeah.
have little Barry. Like we don't just sit around and do nothing. Like we're busy. We're doing
Busy.
stuff. You're
Hmm.
right. Yeah.
One other thing I think
So
that I'm coming to terms with, and I have to like bring my kids to the same realization, is that there's very likely going to be changes in our life that like I won't be able to sustain the lifestyle that we have in regards to like, you know, dropping $100 on T-ball sign up and then like spending $150 on equipment and $250 on groceries every week. I'm like, guys, like what's more important? Like your fucking popcorn or chips that are $5 a bag and you want three of them, or your dragon fruit, which is $5 a pop, or having internet. Like we need to one
yeah,
day we will get back to it.
prioritize. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
hard
that's
for
the
kids.
thing. Yeah, they don't understand how important money is
Yeah,
yet,
and you don't want to like bring them into it either. Like I don't want to tell them more than what they need to know.
Yeah, I mean, you want them to be kids and you want them to be able to live as a kid for as long as possible because once they're thrown into the adult life of
Yeah.
worrying about money and constantly having to think about where the next dollar is going to come from, I mean, that's adult responsibilities.
Right.
And we don't want to expose them to that too early. And
Yeah.
I feel like I had kind of that childhood where I was always worried about money
Hmm.
because and you can understand, living with a single parent.
Parents are worried. Yeah.
Yeah, the parent is constantly worried about where the next dollar is coming from and how much I need to work to get there and who's going to be watching my kid while I'm working. Like
Hmm.
I spent a lot of time alone, Katie, growing up, like especially in high school and stuff. I was alone because dad was busy working, and I worried a lot about money because he worried a lot about money. And it just kind of
Yeah.
trickle down affected me, and that kind of taught me, I mean, it taught me a lot of things like the importance of hard work and the importance of maintaining a job and a career and all that. So,
Hmm.
but it taught me, the importance of your time. Like your time is your money,
Yeah.
and that's really the biggest, and that's the most valuable currency on the planet, I would say, is your
Hmm.
time. And yeah, it does. Time is money. People say that all the time, but like your time is the money. Like money should only be buying you more time. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it
And I
shouldn't
had
be the other way around. So
100%. I was working for an agency, a social media agency, and they let me go last week because I wasn't fitting into their fast-paced environment. And I had already taken a pay cut. Like this was literally 50% of what I charge my own clients, but I'm like, no, it'll bring me experience and like all of that. But then I found that I was doing so much off the clock because I was taking longer with, the time that they had allotted for me to do a certain task. And I'm like, I'm already getting a 50% pay cut for this. And now I'm like spending three times as much time that they think I should be spending on it. And I'm like, it was literally sucking my soul out of my body. So
right,
they were like, like I love the work that you've done, but it's time. I don't think you're a right fit for this team. And I'm like, good, because like it's, I mean, you get it. Like as a content creator, like if someone says to you like I want 25 content idea captions flushed out in an hour, um that's really unrealistic unless you're like just taking ChatGPT and not
yeah.
changing anything. I'm like,
I was like
me,
ChatGPT.
right? But
Yeah,
like I
but you
put
don't want to have to
soul.
do that. Yeah, you don't want to have to
Oh,
just use that
like I can do like
and be
maybe
able to
eight
put
to
your own
ten.
twists.
Right.
Yeah, that
I'm like,
seems reasonable. Yeah,
yeah, so I was like, no, like this isn't working for me. But it just goes to show like your time is so valuable. And it's like, yes, I'm kind of annoyed that they let me go because, I need money. But at the same time, like now I can use that time to focus on my own things and pour into these wedding venue clients that I have that like I'm obsessed with this niche. So it's all working out for me. But I think that, these moments of uncertainty as a breadwinner really do. I'm trying to hold on to them so that way I remember what it's like to struggle. So I like keep
right.
motivated and like not
Oh,
get
yeah,
comfortable. Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, keeping the motivation is important because I mean, when you hit those little tiny, losses, essentially that's what they are.
Hmm.
They're just gonna steer you towards the wins because it's taking up space, and now you have all that free
Yeah.
space to move, and be able to take that time and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's
Watch
how it
out, world.
works. Yeah.
Watch out. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be fun to like play around with some different avenues of income. But also like being very mindful of the money that I do get. So, tax return and divorce stuff that I'll be getting eventually.
Right.
I'm excited, but I'm also very cautious. I'm like, I don't know. Um, yeah. Do you have any, I guess I'm trying to think like, okay, how about this? If there was a passive way you could make money without like clocking in and clocking out, what is something that you would want to do this year?
Like a passive, if I had the opportunity for that, or
Yeah.
what was,
Like if you could create something this year that's like you don't have to be at the site and people could just learn from you and not be all the time. Like I'm thinking like courses or like workshops or things like that online for you. Do you do
I
that in the
mean,
industry?
not really. See, the thing with like the firearms industry, everything's pretty much hands on. So,
Mm,
and I guess, well, I am kind of I know things aren't working out the way that I wanted them to, but I'm starting to see that those things aren't working out, so I can do bigger things.
Yeah.
And without getting into too much detail about it, I mean, we're ironing out this training company. So basically, we'll be teaching, basic through advanced firearms training with handguns and rifles. And I've designed like these syllabuses and different drills and different ways to test our students. And I guess that might be something that people can utilize. Like, I'm going to be putting a lot of this stuff on our website, so it may not be making me direct money.
Mm-hmm.
When they go to the website and they read up on which courses I want to take, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be course descriptions and syllabuses and things like structurized that way.
Yeah.
When somebody looks at it, they're not like, oh, well, this is Barry's 5 hour, basic pistol class, and not understanding what I'm going to get out of that when I get done with that course. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically going to line it out to where they can actually see what they're learning and
Yeah.
what they're going to be better at by the end of each course. So I guess that's kind of a virtual way to make money because people are going to see that and it's going to suck them right in, and they're
Yeah.
going to basically want each course in the way that they're designed.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's exciting. Yeah, I feel like if you have a good like sales page, then it's all the difference. Also, I'm not editing this episode, everyone, so just if there's a flow, you just roll with it.
yeah,
Um,
also I want to put the apology out there. I'm so nasally today. The allergies are killing me. It's just not a good
yeah.
look. But thanks for sticking in to listen to my dumbass voice. So
We love your voice. One other thing I think as like becoming a breadwinner is that I'm becoming more comfortable with is asking for help. I know that's taken me a long time to do that, but even like I don't ask for financial help either. It's just not my cup of tea because I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out, right? But being
right,
open to the idea of it, right? So if I do need help, like I have people that I can ask, but at the same time, like I don't, that's like my last resort, like like it's not, it takes a lot of humility to just be like, you know what, I'm
humility. Yep,
strapped. I need to make this bill.
it's true. It's a tough thing to, I guess, bring yourself to do, but it's necessary at times. Everybody needs help, and that's been my biggest struggle. I would say in the last several years is knowing when I needed help and when it wasn't just
You.
dumb pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a very proud person, and I'm very self-made. Like I said, I
Mhm.
spent a lot of time alone, and since I've been out on my own since 17, I've done it all myself. But there have been so many people along the way that have helped me, and if they hadn't, I wouldn't be here. So
Mhm.
big shout out to them. They know who they are. So
Yeah. That's great.
as I
Well, I
sniffle.
there's a tear coming now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Um, I think this was a good short episode, and I feel like there's a lot more that I will talk about in my journey. It's divorce is messy, life is messy, but at the same time, there's so much to be looking forward to and so many things to celebrate every day. So it's hard in the moment to like shift your focus on it, but at the same time, like your mental health matters. And, if you're doing a really great job just showing up every day, sometimes that's enough.
That's true. That is true. And being a breadwinner, whether you're male or female, is so much responsibility. It is so stressful. And I feel like a lot of people that don't save space for that grace for themselves and realizing, hey, I'm doing a lot of very hard stuff on a daily basis and I'm not giving myself enough credit. Or like my case, I haven't been celebrating. I haven't been rewarding myself because what do you do when you go out to celebrate? You go grab a drink, right? And I don't
Right.
drink, so it's how I've been looking at, like, how am I celebrating these wins? How am I celebrating these big major accomplishments in my life? And I've noticed that I've just not been celebrating. I haven't been saving that space for myself, of gratitude and saying, "Hey, wow, you're doing a great job.
Can
Keep
you make
going,"
yourself
or
a cake?
whatever. So Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, I could cook like a really delicious meal or make
Yeah.
myself like my favorite dessert of some sort. I just, I hardly ever eat sweets. It's not something that I'm really big on. So,
One cupcake.
yeah. So I've been, thinking about things like different activities outside of drinking. Like, hey, like, if I want to go celebrate, I can always go see a movie or
Hmm.
something like that. So,
Awesome. Well, thanks
so
for
yeah, those are the things.
thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Even feeling like a congested airhead, it's all stuck up there.
You showed up. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, sorry for the sniffles every few seconds.
That's all good. Life happens. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back next week, same day, same place, and we're grateful for you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Had a great one. See ya.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.